so my sister and her deadbeat husband could move in. Living at home after college wasn't my first choice, but with student loans looming over me and the job market being tough, I had little option but to return to my childhood bedroom at 23. My mom and I got along well, and I had managed to land a decent job at a local marketing firm. Life was steady, if not exciting. However, the calm in our household was shattered when my older sister Jessica and her husband Mark hit a rough patch. Jessica had always been the favored child. She was beautiful, charming, and effortlessly brilliant. She had the looks and the brains, and everyone adored her, especially my mom. Mark, on the other hand, was her polar opposite. He was constantly unemployed, making terrible financial decisions, and he had a serious drinking problem. Chapter 1: The Calm Before the Storm. One evening, as we sat down for dinner, my mom's expression turned serious. "Honey, I need to talk to you about something important," she began, her voice unusually somber. "Sure, Mom. What's up?" I replied, a knot of anxiety forming in my stomach. "Jessica and Mark are getting evicted from their apartment. They need a place to stay, and I've decided to let them move in here until they get back on their feet." My heart dropped. I knew where this was going. "That's very generous of you, Mom," I said cautiously. "But where would they stay? The house is already pretty full." She sighed deeply, avoiding eye contact. "That's what I need to discuss with you. I'm really sorry, but I need you to move out." It felt like a punch in the gut. Move out? But where would I go? "We've talked about this before. Maybe it's time for you to get your own place. You have a stable job, and I can help with the first few months' rent." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Sure, I had a job, but I wasn't exactly rolling in money. I still had student loans to pay off. Plus, I enjoyed living with my mom. It felt like she was choosing Jessica and Mark over me, and it hurt. "Mom, this isn't fair," I argued. "They're the ones who messed up. Why should I have to leave?" "I know it's hard to understand, but family takes care of each other. Jessica needs us right now." I felt a mix of anger and sadness. Jessica always seemed to need help, and I was tired of cleaning up her messes, but I knew my mom wouldn't budge. She always saw Jessica as the victim, no matter what. Chapter 2: Moving Out. The next few weeks were a blur of apartment hunting and packing. I found a small, affordable place downtown. It wasn't much, but it was mine. The day I moved out, Jessica and Mark moved in. Mom hugged me tightly, tears in her eyes, but I couldn't bring myself to return the gesture fully. It felt like a betrayal. Living alone was an adjustment. I missed my mom, but I relished the independence. I decorated my new place, making it cozy and welcoming. I threw myself into work, taking on extra projects to keep my mind off things. Slowly, I started to feel a sense of pride in my new life. Chapter 3: Struggles at Home. Meanwhile, things at my mom's house didn't improve. Jessica and Mark continued their downward spiral. Mark's drinking got worse, and he brought his bad habits into my mom's home. Jessica, always the charmer, convinced my mom to cover their expenses, draining her savings. One day, I received a call from my mom. She sounded exhausted. "Sweetie, I need your help. Things have gotten out of control with Jessica and Mark. I don't know what to do." I took a deep breath. It was time for some tough love. "Mom, you need to set boundaries. They're taking advantage of you. You can't keep enabling them." "I know," she admitted, her voice breaking, "but I don't know how to stop." "I'll help you, but you need to be strong," I replied. "They need to learn to take responsibility for their own lives." Together, we devised a plan. My mom would give Jessica and Mark a deadline to move out. She would stop covering their expenses and encourage them to seek help for their problems. It was a tough conversation, but it had to happen. Chapter 4: The Breaking Point. A few weeks later, Jessica and Mark left. My mom was a wreck, but I was there to support her. Slowly, she rebuilt her life, and our relationship began to heal. Jessica and Mark struggled, But eventually, they found their way too. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. Chapter 5. Rebuilding. In the end, I realized that sometimes tough love is the most loving thing you can offer. My mom and I became closer than ever, and I learned the value of standing up for myself. Family is important, but so is knowing when to let go. Jessica's departure from our home didn't mean the end of her problems. She and Mark bounced from couch to couch, staying with friends and other relatives. Eventually, they hit rock bottom. Mark was arrested for drunk driving, and Jessica finally admitted that she needed help. Chapter 6. The Road to Recovery. Jessica checked into a rehab program while Mark served his sentence. It was a painful but necessary step. During this time, I reached out to her, offering support but maintaining the boundaries I'd learned to set. Our relationship began to mend as she took responsibility for her life. My mom, too, found peace in the newfound stability. She joined a support group for parents of addicts and started volunteering at a local shelter. Her energy and resources, once drained by Jessica and Mark, were now channeled into helping others. Chapter 7. New Beginnings. With my mom's encouragement, I took a leap and applied for a higher position at work. To my surprise, I got the promotion. It was a turning point for me, both professionally and personally. I moved into a nicer apartment, one that reflected my growing confidence and independence. Jessica, after completing her rehab, found a job and a small apartment. She and Mark decided to separate, realizing that their relationship was toxic. It was a painful but necessary decision. Jessica continued her recovery, attending meetings and working with a sponsor. Chapter 8. The Healing Process. Holidays and family gatherings gradually became less tense. We established new traditions, ones that didn't revolve around Jessica's crises. My mom and I became closer than ever, and our bond was strengthened by the challenges we'd faced together. Jessica and I also rebuilt our relationship. She apologized for the hurt she'd caused, and I forgave her. We weren't as close as we once were, but there was a new, more honest connection between us. She was finally taking control of her life, and I was proud of her. Chapter 9. The Power of Boundaries. Setting boundaries had been difficult but crucial. It allowed my mom and me to reclaim our lives and offer support to Jessica without being dragged down by her problems. We learned that true support means encouraging loved ones to stand on their own, not enabling their destructive behaviors. Chapter 10. Moving Forward. Years later, I look back on that difficult period with a sense of gratitude. It taught me resilience, the importance of boundaries, and the power of tough love. My mom and I are closer than ever, and Jessica continues to thrive in her sobriety. Mark eventually found help, too. After his release, he entered a rehabilitation program and started working towards rebuilding his life. He and Jessica remained friends, both understanding that their relationship was best left in the past. Epilogue. Today, my life is filled with purpose and joy. I've advanced in my career, built a strong support network of friends, and maintain a loving relationship with my mom. Jessica's journey continues to inspire me, reminding me that change is possible, even in the darkest of times. In the end, our family's story is one of redemption and growth. We faced our struggles head-on, learned from our mistakes, and emerged stronger. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Family is important, but so is knowing when to let go and allow loved ones to find their own path. At 23, life brought unexpected challenges when I found myself back in my childhood bedroom, grappling with student loans and a tough job market. My return home was meant to be a temporary solution, but it soon became a pivotal chapter in my life when my older sister Jessica and her troubled husband Mark faced eviction. Jessica, the golden child, and Mark, the constant underachiever, moved into our family home, pushing me out to make space. This decision by my mom felt like a betrayal, leaving me hurt and resentful. As I struggled to find my footing in my new independent life, I watched from a distance as Jessica and Mark's downward spiral drained my mom emotionally and financially. The turning point came when my mom reached out, desperate and exhausted. Together, we set boundaries, demanding Jessica and Mark take responsibility for their lives. This story chronicles our painful journey of tough love, the struggles of rebuilding, and the eventual healing and growth that emerged from the chaos. When Tough Love Heals is a powerful tale of family, resilience, and the importance of setting boundaries. It explores the complexities of sibling relationships, the strength found in independence, and the transformative power of facing difficult truths. Join us on this heartfelt journey of redemption, forgiveness, and the enduring bond of family